So please join me for the salute of the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, look at all the crowd. No, you can't.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved?
A second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Public comment, none. So board services, we're meeting with the Costa Group, with Mr. Brown and Mr. Stone.
Right.
Stone, one of those.
One of those.
One of those things. Steve and David? Stephen or David?
David, Steve.
And Steve, okay. I didn't know, okay. I knew we had a David and I didn't know Steve, okay. So, take it away.
Great. Thank you for meeting with us. We really, obviously, are trying to get this process started as quickly as possible for a couple of reasons. Number one, so that you'll have a new superintendent here by, July 1st, and also so that we can be hopefully ahead of some of the other districts that are also looking. A lot of superintendencies seem to be open.
That's what I was wondering, is how many are open?
We've been contacted by so many, and we, as Dave and I said when we were interviewed by you, we keep to a few. So Dave and I will not be doing any others, and I think on Friday we got 3 requests, and our people are already busy, and so it seems to be a little busier. I don't know why. Do you have any? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
Playing musical chairs?
Sometimes, some retirements, things are not, sometimes when the things are really tough out there financially, and they always are. A couple of years ago, we had great turnover, and then it slowed down a little bit, so I'm not quite sure. But it's cyclical.
Anything in Sonoma County?
I think there's one that may be coming up in Sonoma County, yeah. But yeah, there is.
It's small,
Yeah.
small or large?
I think it's about
About the same.
Yeah. So, tonight what we want to do is go through the process. We showed you the process in our proposal, have a couple of modifications, but we want this process, as we said, when we first met, to be yours. And so we're open to suggestions and whatever. And then we want to do some brainstorming, and then we want to have you identify who you want us to meet with. According to this schedule, we'll meet with people next week. Your spring break comes the week after next, and then you have a board meeting. So kind of debating and talking with Mindy about which would be best. Next week is best for us, but it means we need somebody who can really very quickly jump in and notify people and get the schedule out, and she's been wonderful so far. So we've done some preliminary work together, and so we'll meet with people next week. But we want to start with going through the process with you. So let me pass this out to everybody.
So who are you meeting with next week?
That's the schedule we'll talk about tonight.
Okay.
And it's really who you want us to meet with. We have some ideas, certainly.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So if you, let me walk you through this. The first 2 dates are done. So we're on our way.
Check, check.
We presented the proposal on the 19th of February, and then on the 26th, you approved the contract. And then tonight, again, as I indicated, what the process will be. So that's tonight. What we plan to do tonight is to ask you who we should be meeting with, stakeholders. We do that for several reasons. Number one is to get some buy-in from the community, from the school district, from people who work here and live here, and to give us and give you the ideas of what are their concerns and what are their priorities. And we'll do that the next week. Be here either 4 or 5 days to try and fit into everybody's schedule. So we're flexible. We'll be here as puts together that schedule. And what we'll be doing at those meetings is what we're going to be doing tonight, with one exception. We're going to be asking them to talk to us about what they see as the great strengths of your school district and your community. I have a sense that there's a strong sense of community here, and a lot of people have been here for a long time, their whole lives. So I think it's going to be a unique experience. And then ask them what do they see as the issues that we'll be confronting in the next several years, and what the new superintendent will have to have experiences and strengths to deal with. And then based upon that, we'll ask people what are the characteristics you would like to see in the new superintendent, and we'll ask them to prioritize. We're not going to ask you to prioritize tonight. And then on the 26th, if that means meets with your calendars, we'll be bringing all that information to you and ask you to look back at what you brainstormed tonight and see if there is a coherence between what we're hearing from all the stakeholders that we're listening to and what you put down, what you brainstormed. And sometimes the lists are quite similar, and sometimes they're not. And we deal with that in an interesting way if there's a divergence there. But we would ask you to look at what we've obtained from both the survey that'll be online as well as our meetings next week, and then refine the lists that you've made, that you'll be creating tonight. And out of that, we'll ask you to identify maybe 10 of the greatest strengths of your district, then the greatest needs, and then what you want to see in a new superintendent. And then we'll use that in developing a electronic brochure, and we'll use that to go out and recruit people for this job. We held the first seminar the CASA group held on Friday and Saturday. We had 38 people who either are superintendents or want to be superintendents. And so I was delighted there's some good people there. So we use that as a group of people that we'll be contacting, some in that group, as well as advertising and reaching out to people that we know and that our partners know.
Where was that conference? Was that?
It was in Orange County, near the John Wayne Airport.
The applicants from down there, all over the state?
We had it all over the state.
Okay.
So we had some people who flew into the airport.
Okay.
There. So that would be the meeting of the 26th, and then we intend to start disseminating the material on the 1st of April, and the deadline is 4 weeks later on the 26th. In phase 3, we'll be screening the applicants, and we'll be delivering here to the district, and Mindy will keep them under lock and key, all the applications, so that we'll ask you to individually come in and review those applications, be familiar with them, take notes, determine in your own mind what you see as some of the strengths, some of the strong candidates there. But we want you to feel comfortable when we come back and make recommendations. So you might say to us when we come back to you on the 7th of May, gee, those are the same candidates that I identified as a board member. Or you might say, why didn't you include so-and-so? Or, gee, I don't agree with some of these that you included. And we'll have a discussion. And at the end of that meeting, you'll select who you want to interview. We will immediately, depending on what time that meeting is over, notify people for the interview that following Saturday. We'd ask you to devote a good part of the Saturday. We'd like to do it on a non-school day when there's not when people are more available and people can be a little more relaxed. So we find the Saturday works.
You're saying in May?
In May, that would be
May 11th.
May 11th.
Mother's Day weekend.
Uh-huh. We promise not to carry it over to the 12th. So the 11th, and then on that day, we would expect that you would do several things. You might select one final candidate, maybe 2 final candidates, or you may say, we'd like to continue the process, and that'll be your decision. Normally, a board selects 1 or 2, during that first interview, and then we asked them to plan on that following Monday, which would be the 13th, to have a final interview. We encourage it to be held in someone's home, a board member's home, so that people might feel a little more relaxed, and you can get a sense of how people are when they're not in a more formal setting. And that interview is different than the first interview. The first interview is very structured, and so we'll work together in developing questions, same questions to each candidate, so very structured, so you'll have something to compare. But that second interview will be a time for you to follow up on some of the questions that may have arisen in your mind as a result of that first interview. And it gives the candidate an opportunity to be able to ask you questions. And so it's more of a dialogue than an interview. If that goes well, we would expect towards the end of that week, or possibly earlier the next week, to have a site visit. And we really encourage all 5 board members to attend. We've had a couple of instances where the board is so overwhelmed in a positive way with the candidate, they say, oh, that's not necessary. We really encourage it. It does 2 things. Number one, it can confirm, hey, this is a great candidate, or you might find something in talking to people face to face. Plus, it gives some confidence to those in your school district and community that you've done your due diligence, spent some time actually talking to people who are working with this individual.
Even if the finalist is in Hawaii?
Yeah.
I remember
Take
that.
it.
Yeah, it's on your dime though.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make that.
I was gonna say, it's gonna be difficult for 5 people if we have to travel to, I don't know, Nebraska.
Yeah,
I mean,
Um,
I could see if it's local, that's one
yeah,
thing, I guess it depends on where they're coming
It'll
from.
probably be in California, and we can talk about that also.
Okay,
But, yeah, and sometimes it's, you know, it is a regular, it's a special board meeting when you're all together. And then what we're shooting for is, on the 11th of June, you approve the contract. The contract has to be approved in a regular scheduled board meeting. And, but legally, and we just need to be sure that's happening. And if it's done on the 11th, that gives a person enough time to be able to get out of their current job and transition here by July 1st.
And we have 2 regular scheduled board meetings in June.
Right. So that's the schedule. Your reaction, information, more information, any suggested changes?
did you say we would each come here individually to review the applications?
Yes, somewhere in wherever, an office that Indy has.
Okay,
And we ask you to keep it very confidential and keep the papers here in the district. But we'd really like you to spend some time, and it does take some time to thoroughly go through all of the candidates. We just want you to get a sense of who's out there, who's interested, who applied, and not just rely on our recommendation, frankly, because this is going to be your superintendent.
So the meeting the week of the 11th, how does that roll out?
Of the 11th of
March, so next week.
After we do some brainstorming tonight, we're going to ask you to identify who you want us to meet with. We have some pretty good idea, Minnie and I have been talking. And she will develop probably tomorrow, get the word out to people.
And so
And
will you invite
it's-
them to come here? Is it like a town hall? Or is
It's-
it where you have like tables set up?
It'll be relatively small groups. And we have a night, we thought of a night, Monday night, I believe,
Okay.
to have the community come in. So community would probably be in here, and we'll see if it's a large group or not. You have a better sense than I do.
next Monday night?
Yeah. And then the others are smaller groups.
So what I'm saying though is that it's something set up where they're out there, or do you have small tables out where people are having conversations
We
with each other?
Prefer to have chairs in a
In a circle,
Yeah.
and no table, just circles?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
More interaction.
Do you have a list of groups that you and Mindy worked out?
What we wanted to do is have you folks identify groups. We can tell you those that we
Sure,
identified when we talked. We can do that.
okay.
And you can tell us, hey, we
Thanks.
forgot so-and-so, if that's what you,
Yep.
what you find. Other questions?
Piece of cake.
Thank you. You okay?
So we all come in individually and review the applications. I mean, that could be 4 or 5 hours, type of thing, depending upon the number of applications. Do boards ever sit down and discuss them prior to you narrowing it down your list? Do we sit amongst and discuss ourselves, well, we like this candidate, we like this
I
candidate?
prefer you to do that when we're all together.
No, I know, but I mean, oh, okay.
Okay, and it's really
In closed- in closed
In
session?
closed session.
In closed
In closed
session.
session, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. This meeting, the next time we meet will be in open session, and then we start closed sessions
Okay.
and confidentiality.
So so we're gonna review the applications, when would you anticipate a closed session where we would possibly?
That would be what is that? The 7th of May.
We don't have a board meeting that night, so that's just another
It's a
meeting.
special meeting, special
Special
meeting
meeting.
in closed session.
So what is it, Thursday,
That's a
Tuesday night?
Tuesday night. Tried to keep these to Tuesday nights, because I understand that's when you normally meet.
Yep.
What's
Or
normal? What's
or
normal?
Abnormally.
At this
meet.
point, I can't even keep up.
I'm sorry, is the meeting on the 7th closed session?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And could we arrange the tables in closed session in a more intimate circle? The way we've been setting it up is straight and like I
Well-
can't see Jennifer.
So that
or
we're in a
Jen.
round-
We-
like-
We could be in,
A table.
we could be in a table, or we could be in Tony's office, which is a round table.
Yeah, that'd be.
That would
Maybe
work.
on one.
That would work too.
Closed session, so.
As long as we don't have a straight table.
No, we could, I'm
I don't care
I'm
where it
assuming we
is.
could use Tony's office for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we just have,
More of a
in our closed
dialogue.
sessions, we've been at a straight table. So Tim's sitting next
Yeah.
to Lef, and then I can't even see Tim or Jennifer at the end. So
Right.
she's been pulling her chair, so if we could just be a little bit more
Certainly.
inclusive.
And then we'll also at that time talk about the setup for the board interviews too, so that we have a comfortable setting for the candidate, as
Okay.
comfortable as possible when you're interviewing.
Okay.
Anything else? Any other questions? Joe? You good? Tim?
Yep.
Okay. So what we're gonna do now is do some brainstorming. And Dave is gonna write, because I'm left-handed.
Nothing's wrong with being left-handed.
And when I started school, they
Did you do with your right hand?
had me do it with my right hand, and consequently, I can't read either hand.
You
So
can't-
It's terrible. So, that's why Dave is such a great asset.
Because he can write.
So what we want to do is brainstorm and see his great strengths. Not strengths you want to see in your superintendent, but strengths of your school district and your community. Because when we're out there trying to recruit people and answer questions, part of it is, well, what kind of community is this?
We just did this at the LCAP meeting here.
Is it the kind of community that if I'm superintendent, I would want to bring my kids and raise them here?
Jennifer, can you see this?
Yes, thank you.
So it's important. And just one rule of brainstorming. If your neighbor says something you think is completely ridiculous, don't let them know, okay? Because at this stage of the game, we want your individual ideas. We'll, the next time we meet, we'll have you prioritize. So, and this, I guess there are two rules. The other is not a big editorial, just give Dave a couple of words to put up with. Okay? So what do you see as great strengths of your school district? Just shout it out. Or your
I think
community.
it's a good place to raise a family,
Big bird?
a place to raise your family.
Okay, great place to raise a family.
A lot of people have like deep roots here too.
Okay.
A lot of, so there's a lot of multi-generational
Okay.
people here.
A lot of multi-generational people in the community.
Go with another color.
Intergenerational, a lot of intergenerational folks in the
Oh, I
community.
didn't hear that.
Ah,
He's having trouble with the pens. They're not cooperating.
I think he's losing this one too.
Intergenerational or multi-generational?
Multi.
Multi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Multi.
I also think we got things going with like the smart train and how they're doing the downtown. Like they're kind of revitalizing certain areas too. So I think it's like they got a lot of that stuff
So
coming too. It's like kind of growing,
Okay,
even though
growing
it's
and
been.
revitalization of the community.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
You're not very bright.
Not very.
Sorry.
Need some more juice in those.
I'll keep trying until I find one. Okay?
If you find one that works, don't change color.
What else? What are some other strengths of your community or your school district?
It's a, if you, I guess, yeah, I like the way it's like located to like a lot of different things, like, you know, the beach, Tahoe.
Central.
It's like central located, the city, you know, you can go up north. It's around a lot of different like activities and places.
Okay. The geographical location is
Very desirable.
good.
The city was designed with families in mind.
City was designed with families in mind. What do you mean?
There's a school in every neighborhood, there's a park in every neighborhood, there's bike trails everywhere.
Great.
Creek tap trails.
We have great teachers.
Great teachers. Glad to hear that.
We were just at LCAP and my brain's drawing a total blank.
What are some other things when you talk to people about what you like about your school district, your community? What do you say?
There's a lot of opportunities for their students. There's a lot of different classes available for them to choose from.
Programmatic
Yeah, there's a lot of
programs?
different programs to choose from. Each one of those, the elementary schools too, is designed differently. We have different schedules.
And also
A lot of
there's,
opportunities for kids.
there's a lot of growth after K through 12. You got like awesome JC, Santa Rosa Junior College, and then you got Sonoma State right there. So there's like a really good opportunity even after. And like the, you know, JC's like I think is a big thing too, because it's a super good school and it's cost
Student
effective.
opportunities post high school.
Mhm. We have a lot of great sporting programs.
So that post graduation.
Yes.
Opportunities.
Okay.
Good.
We have a lot of great sports programs outside of and inside of school.
Sports programs both inside and outside of the school district.
We have great relationships with our cities, with Cotati and Rohnert Park, working relationships.
Great relationship with your cities.
With our councils. Parent involvement.
Okay, Brown involvement.
Contrary to our
LCAP.
lack of audience tonight.
Can't say anything now.
Yeah.
Can't say anything now. If you disagree.
Huh?
Shh, part of the rules.
Sheesh.
Well, she's saying we have parental involvement, and you're saying, no, we don't, because of the other, so.
Okay, what else?
We're going to get parent
What
involvement.
are some other great things?
We have great principals.
Great principals,
And we're very lucky we have the counselors that we have.
counselors.
We've expanded the amount of counselors that we have.
How many counselors at the high school?
We have 4? I think we have 4. And a guidance counselor.
What was that?
I was just saying we have a lot of great counselors. And principals,
We
yeah.
got a ridiculously cool gym.
You got what?
Or the gym, the tag building.
Is that the new building?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that's a
New gym building?
pretty big thing.
Yeah. You put a few dollars in that?
Yeah. Technology High School as well is a gem for our city. It attracts a lot of students from outside and inside. And with its new site, it should be able to attract even more.
What's that?
So we have a new site that it's going on to, so we should be able to attract more students to that as well.
Is that elementary?
Technology, it's moving, yeah, we're changing one of our elementaries to a high school.
Okay, it's a new site.
Mhm.
That's the home of the technology high school.
Correct, yes.
And is the middle school, technology middle school here?
Correct.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a lot of local produce and stuff around here. Like, if you're into that, there's a lot of like, really
organic,
good like
yeah.
local meats and food and farmers markets and stuff. I think are pretty desirable. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
If you're into
true.
that.
It's a lot of people,
When my
yeah.
daughter lives in Petaluma, she gets all kinds of local.
We have a
Mhm.
great meat
delivered
place
on a
too.
regular basis. It's terrific.
Well, it's alcohol, but it's, we're the wine industry. You know.
And breweries, craft breweries.
Oh, that's big now.
That's big now, yeah.
Mhm.
Alcohol? A lot of alcohol.
Breweries and
Well, it's
wineries.
just- it's-
But there's another
Yeah.
word for that.
It's things to do.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
entertainment.
There are a lot of things to
I
do
don't mean
up
to sound
here.
offensive, but I live in Napa. And
Yeah.
when I first got here, I don't know if that sign still exists, but there was a sign when you came into Sonoma said, "Welcome to the famous wine country. Return to Napa for auto parts."
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
That's
that's
good.
funny.
What else?
Oh, there's a lot of small to medium-sized businesses here. A lot of people who own their own businesses around here, which I think's pretty good because people,
A lot of local businesses?
yeah, a lot of
Mhm.
local
People who
businesses.
live here and
We have a,
Yeah.
and we have a strong Chamber of Commerce. They also have a great relationship with our public safety.
With whom?
Public safety,
Do you have your own police department?
it's,
Is that
it's, we have, it's police and fire, so it's public safety.
Your own.
They do both. They're cross-chained.
Did last year's fire impact this area very much?
As
What?
far as
The
housing
Napa fire that came
prices?
over?
Well,
It's
housing
impacted
prices,
everything.
yes.
It didn't get into the houses here.
Okay.
It did evacuate the north end of town, almost came over the hill. But it's impacted the whole county severely, just like Napa. I mean, it's just,
After listening to your discussion last week about facilities, is that part of the
Yes,
increased
and we
costs
need to
of
have,
building?
yeah, mm-hmm.
as
We need to have
a
some more
result of the
conversations
demands
on
the
it.
building industry?
Yeah, it's just, yeah, we need to have a conversation with our legislature, Bill Dodd and Mike Thompson.
And also too, I think just, because I'm in construction, it's not just like the fires, yeah, that's one thing, a lot of contractors, but just like building in general, there's like a
Shortage.
huge, huge boom. Just even without the fires,
Mhm.
it would be almost like it is now. I mean, I think the type of construction that's going on for the houses isn't the type of construction that we'd be doing here, like in the
Correct.
building, but it's just all over the nation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, we can't get guys, like literally there's
We have beautiful
no skilled
facilities.
labor, because there's
We
so
don't
much
get that on
building.
there.
Well, when we had the recession, they all
Upgraded
went and
facilities.
took another job doing something else. All
Well,
those guys that
We
had
have
their own.
upgraded
Joe's
businesses.
working
technologies.
on skyscrapers, and if you've been into the city and seen Salesforce's building, it's just like,
And
It's
San
amazing,
Francisco's
yeah.
not even in the
God,
top
you know.
10
Mhm.
as far as like workforce goes. They're not even there, and there's like the most cranes there's ever been.
You used to be able to park around AT&T Park, but now it's just like building and building, and the medical center and the new Warrior State, just billions of dollars getting poured in.
Okay, we're gonna put that up on the board here, and if you think of any other things that you want to add to it, we'll do that. But the next list, and we want you to be candid, is a list of what are those concerns you have, and what are the issues that we need to face. And we don't look at this as a negative. You know, the fact is when you have bring in new leadership, that's a great opportunity to move forward. So we'd like to look at this in a positive way. Here are the issues, and we're going to confront those issues, and our new superintendent and working with you will solve them. So what are those issues?
Homelessness, cost of living.
Okay, homelessness, cost of living,
Demographics.
demographics,
It's
We
changing.
are losing, the whole county, the whole state is losing population.
What was the last one?
demographics, losing population,
Enrollment's down across California.
and in your district.
Oh, yeah.
All districts.
All
Enrollment
districts.
is down.
Yeah, they just came out with this study, and every district is purported, except for a couple in the state, to be losing 1 to 1.5% per year for the next 7 years. It's just across the state.
Yeah, under demographics, one of the biggest challenges we face is the racial and ethnic demographic changes that are going on throughout, the state, the county, the country. But that's affecting us too, and that affects how we address issues like academic achievement.
Okay, right,
So
big changes.
academic achievement, student achievement.
Okay, student achievement. Student achievement.
As a concern.
Budget deficit.
Budget deficit.
Costs of stirs and PERS. Increasing cost of special ed.
Special ed costs.
I think healthcare too.
Healthcare,
Pensions, yeah.
It's probably like
spurs.
one of the
Stirs.
biggest.
Yeah, PERS and STIRS.
First stirs,
You know, what you've identified is throughout California.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's not unique to us.
This
It's,
company, but it's,
but it was positively addressed in this last budget.
oh,
A
So it's not gonna
smidgen,
Continue to go up, it's at least gonna stay.
A little bit.
a
little
smidgen.
bit.
It's,
Yeah.
it's not
And I
enough.
think I read there was a projection that was gonna go to 23% or 24% within the next year or two. And that seems to have stalled, so there's some good news in there somewhere.
They're kicking a little bit of money back to the district, but it's,
Newsom is changing
Yes.
either way.
I think the face of education over the next 10 years is going to be unrecognizable to what we have now. It has to change because no districts, you're going to have districts going bankrupt all over the country. Because you can't,
Yep.
you can only cut, the pie's this big. And if this much of the pie is this and you only have 20% that you can look at, then you start digging into student programs.
Which is
And
where we
that's
were
where it's-
before, right?
Pardon?
Which is where we were before.
And we're getting close now, looking at it.
Settlement.
It's scary.
open.
Yeah.
I'll say open.
Yep.
It's settled in a nice way, but then.
They have to go cut 21.7 million. Yep.
Riots in the streets because there may be some programs cut. or
Yep.
Schools closed, so.
I think
It's terrible.
like
Nope,
infrastructure,
sure can't.
like when I look around, there's like a lot of portables and things that need to be redone and stuff like that, roofs and a lot of like that maintenance upkeep that's coming up, I think. I feel.
Deferred maintenance, yeah.
Deferred maintenance,
Maintenance issues.
yeah.
Is it too late to add something positive about,
Never,
We're gonna
it's never
make all
too
that
late.
positive.
okay, this is sort of self-serving, but I think the board is unified and clear about,
That's on the other. Okay.
about the direction we want our district to go in, so they're coming into a district with a unified board.
Great, the unified board. Yeah, did you all receive my email?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry.
I
what'd you
know.
say?
Did you receive my email that I sent last week to your district email?
Yes,
Okay.
I don't think,
I had to think about which one it
Commented
was,
on
yes.
model behavior.
Yeah, I did comment about what I saw.
We weren't throwing
last
fruit
week.
at each other?
No, you were, What's the number one question that candidates will ask us?
Oh,
How's the board?
what's your board
What's the
like?
board like? Of course. And one of the reasons I wanted to sit and watch you the night is you were dealing with a tough issue.
We were behaving.
Well, that's the way you always behave.
You're right.
To assume. That's the way you always behave. But it was terrific. You did it well. And you, I remember Tim at the end of the meeting complimented everybody. It was nice to hear. Did a good job. What are other concerns?
Parental involvement?
Parental involvement? How many people attended your meeting last week?
LCAP?
LCAP?
3 parents, well,
Pardon?
4 or 5.
Well,
It depends.
me and my
You could
wife.
do
6.
both, right?
and I don't know how many other parents there were.
I had 3 friends that were here,
Yeah.
and myself, 4 parents. So 5, 6, yeah.
It
What
was
the
mostly
past
staff and principals.
Yeah, so I mean,
and
we,
board.
yeah,
But
for
we
something
had-
like that, it would have been nice to have 50 people.
The hardest part is people don't come unless something's broken. And they had an event at Evergreen, and they had an event at University Elementary.
I
So-
think a critical issue is marketing, for lack of a better word. How do we market? I mean, we've got
Disseminating
this
information.
fabulous new thing going to start up at Rancho that Dr. Gansler's involved in. And I don't think anybody knows about it but a handful of people. It's been,
Talking about the classes?
yeah, the pathways, everything he's doing over there. I mean,
It's really
what
hard
he's
to,
doing
like-
over there is
like,
fabulous.
talk yourself up and market yourself sometimes, I think. Because you have to, I think that's where you really need to have someone outside doing it instead of you doing it. Because there are a lot of things you just know, like, you just know these things and you don't put it out there. So you know about things, you know how things work, but you need someone promoting it. Because I think you don't say those things.
I mean, what he's doing is groundbreaking work, and I don't think, I mean, I've asked 10 people if they knew about this who have kids, and they're like, what are you talking about? So we have to find a way to get our message out.
School
It's-
people are really do a poor job of it, I have to admit.
Well, we
You
all
think
used to
just-
have public information officers
Right.
years ago,
You used to.
40, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
When I
But
first
we think
started
just
in the
doing a good
district, we
job
had
is
one,
enough.
you know.
Yeah.
You need to tell people, and
It's a little
I don't
different.
know, in your district, in many communities now, most people, the majority don't have kids in school.
That is true
The
here.
people who are most supportive are parents.
That's part
That
of
is
the,
true.
that's part of the demographics that's
Yeah.
going on. People aren't moving.
And I think too, another thing is like, there, without, you had charter schools and stuff, so it's just like, like, someone lives in the neighborhood, they're going to the school. So you don't need to promote it as much, right? And, with, both parents, with just one parent working, there's someone a lot more involved. Now you have an area where it costs a lot of money, so you have 2 parents working, they don't have the time or energy, or they're not as involved. And then, you have charter schools to where, they got something that parents want to go to. And I don't think as a school district, you're used to promoting yourself and trying to get people to come there that live in your area.
That's true.
So I think that's like a lot of stuff that I see that's going on.
Yeah.
So like, I think as a superintendent, it's a little off topic, but I want like a marketing genius as a superintendent.
We actually,
Yeah.
just so you know, we did do a ton of marketing.
It was not effective, whatever we did.
Well, I think that's what we need to survey. The hard part is that even as a parent, you're involved in what your kid's involved in. So unless it happens, I mean, even for myself, I get a newsletter every single week from my principal. Can I say I read it every week? No. Sorry, Dawn. But I don't, just because I have so many other things that are going on. So it's about the individual, because we do Facebook, we do Twitter, we do radio. We've done flyers, they do emails, they send out flyers via email to the whole district. So it really depends on what the parent is looking for and who you're trying to reach.
I liked Tony's idea last week of being site-specific.
Yeah,
I think that each site is going to have to figure out how they're going to market themselves and work with someone.
and they've been working on that for a long time.
Yeah, we've got to do something.
They need to have
push
their
that out.
30-second elevator speech down.
Okay.
We want to solve the problem. We talked
Yeah.
in our little group about that at the LCAP meeting about what's the most effective way to do that. So we can get back to that.
But how do you explain to people what LCAP means? I mean, the whole,
Got to break it
You
down small
send
enough
them
so
to
they
get their
understand.
teaching credential, and then
Yeah.
after they get that, you come back and explain it to
right.
them, yeah,
I mean, just by the nature of it, it's complicated,
sure.
people don't really understand. It can be powerful, it should be powerful.
It has to be put in layman's terms for
Yeah.
people.
What
Yep.
you experience is
Common.
what is happening in most districts. Why aren't people out here? This is important stuff.
Mhm.
They're
How do
home
you-
cooking
If you
dinner.
really want people to come out, besides a controversial issue, how do you get people to come out to the meeting?
Food.
You go to them.
Or you have
You
kids
go-
perform. If you
Yeah.
want.
Oh.
Or you recognize kids in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you
but
bring
even
it
then,
up.
it's a small
Your
amount.
last meeting last week, you had a lot of kids here.
It's
They were
controversial.
interested in
Mhm.
the Sports program.
I think it
Mhm.
needs to be like a smaller thing, like,
Yeah.
I think the information needs to come from the teachers, not.
Or the
like-
principal. If you do it at PTA meeting and you take 15 minutes and you have them do kind of like what we did.
Well, I was thinking like, or, we use Team Snap for our, I know we got something
That
similar to
thing's so
that
awesome.
app. And we can communicate, but the teachers constantly communicating, you're gonna read more of what the teacher says than what the principal says. Cause to you, that's a little bit more, that's like more focused on your kid. So if you
Mhm.
got all the teachers doing it, I think it's gonna get out more than just the principal. So, I mean, that's like how, I would see it when the teachers does stuff. My wife brought up something too. There's a lot of stuff that she's getting involved in PTA, and because what I'm doing, she's getting more involved. But ever since my kid's been in school, she's always volunteered for the classroom, and we've always volunteered for things when asked,
Mhm.
like Halloween and all that stuff. But there's a lot of stuff that she's just learning about that she should have probably known about, and it's because they're not being promoted, and it's not coming from the teacher. It's like LCAP in a newsletter from the principal, and you're like, what is that? And it'd be nice if it came from the teacher, something like, hey,
More teacher
this is,
engagement.
yeah, I think, and it's like face-to-face, that was another thing, like if we had more face-to-face time. And then when we market ourselves, I think about the elections, and like the face-to-face is the most effective. Obviously, like signs on the lawns and face-to-face. So I think if we want to get more, because I've actually talked to about 5 or 6 people around here, a couple in K section, and I was like, oh, where do your kids go to school? And they all go to charter schools, everyone does. And I think and I know it costs a lot of money and it's time consuming, but I think we need to get more face-to-face. And I think that's a critical issue, is more face-to-face time with community and parents and like actually neighborhoods, to say like, hey, just curious, where do your kids go to school? Why do you go to a charter school? And then just that face-to-face, it's like, hey, you know what? No one else ever came to me and talked to me about my kids and what I want. Maybe they got other things to offer, but I think that's something that we're lacking. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how much it costs, but I think that face-to-face time, instead of just a paper in my kid's backpack, or like, an app or something where it's like constant communication.
We had talked about power schools having more ability than we're using. I don't know if that's a positive or a negative,
What
but
is it?
Power Schools, our student information system that we switched to after, it's still got some hiccups going on, but I think there's some ability in there. I was talking to principal at Han, and she said that it has an opt-in feature. So where she's only got 200 people signed up to push information out through our software, because she has to go manually add them all. It should be the other way around. It should be a mandatory opt-in if a parent wants out, but that's how she's pushing information. But she's only got 200 of 500 entered. And that's just one school site. I'm assuming it's going on all
No,
over.
that's the same at Evergreen.
Yeah. So we need to look more into what capabilities, because we paid a pretty penny for this software. We should be using its capabilities to use it as an information system to get out to the community and out to parents.
How long have you had that system?
A year, last August, we switched, and it was terrible. It had all kinds of problems. It didn't play nice with the other software. The other software, they wouldn't let us bring over student information from. So a lot of it, every time they tried to do it, there was a problem. So I think a lot of it ended up getting done manually.
Lev,
Yeah,
can,
Aries, what did you say?
We did. We went from
Between
Aries to
Aries.
Quick School and then this one.
Lev, can you ask if there's any reason why it can't be opt-out, like Krista was saying? Because I was wondering the same thing.
I did ask Rachel if she would bring it up with Tony, so
Yeah.
Tony could disseminate to the IT department, maybe talk to Robert
Yeah,
and find out what we could do, but that's critical. One of the
agree.
things at the LCAP, all of us were at different tables, and every group had communication and lack of information getting to parents. And so we thought, okay, instead of going to spend more money on something, what do we have that we can use, that we can communicate? And I think everybody agreed, let's see what more power schools. I think we have 2 guys in IT working on power schools alone because of the issues.
Only job.
Recent hires, I would say 6 months, 6 to 8 months.
You folks have been successful with several bond issues, haven't you?
Mhm.
What's the magic there?
I think the community, like I know I voted, and it's just like, I'd rather give my money to schools than, I mean, it's a lot, you know?
I'll be honest, I was not for the last bond. That's how I got involved. Because it was very frustrating to read the glossy flyers and have it not happen. That was very frustrating.
But I
We
think-
fix the roofs. we're
yeah,
gonna-
but I think
Didn't
it
happen.
shows that the community supports the schools and students.
I think it's,
Yeah, that's what I'd lead to.
I think it's
They do.
easy for us to pass the bonds, because I think everyone
Right.
cares more about like
It-
this,
Well, you're
the kids and the
55%.
students and.
So that's a big thing versus doing a parcel at 2/3 type of thing.
And
And
not
who,
every community.
and the
has a
majority,
school
you know,
bond.
and a lot of, you know, if the economy's good and the people support, I mean, why wouldn't you want to provide nice schools for kids and facilities and stuff like that? Then it also improves your property value if the schools are, you know, facilities. So it's kind of a win-win type of thing that way.
But again,
you know.
not all communities pass school bonds.
No, and then we're getting some feedback from the community, because we've got 3 bonds. I did one in 1990, when there were dinosaurs back then. We did the first one, and then we did 14 and 16, where, you know, Jennifer was much more involved in those.
And a parcel tax.
And
in
a
there,
parcel,
too.
which is great, and then we get money from the casino too, but there's a certain segment of the community that's complaining about that portion, and there's certain people that are of the right age can opt out of the parcel tax. And
They can opt out of a parcel tax, they can't opt.
they can't opt out of the bond. So we are seeing, according to our business, that people that are older than 60,
Over what-
65, I think.
But they're,
65.
what they're paying is still so minimal because it's based on.
I know, it's only-
the price they paid for their
But when you're
house.
I know, it's
fixed
only a
income.
one-time thing, it's only
Less than my
$89.
PG&E bill.
Yeah.
How many people opting out?
Pardon me?
We had heard
On the
from,
partial tax?
and
Yeah.
Barron had said yes the last time
Well,
we
and
asked him
Robert said
last year.
that too, because I asked, and he said,
Yeah.
so some seniors, it may just be $89 a year doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but for some people it
Some
is.
people in it.
If you're
Yeah.
on a fixed income, it is, and all
Yeah.
you have social security, yeah, it's a big deal.
Okay, any other critical issues?
We can always add.
So keeping in mind what you've identified as your strengths, and we can add, continue to add tonight, and.
Maybe about like the baby boomer population. There's a lot of people retiring that have a lot of experience and knowledge. And I don't know how that is in the school system, but I know that that's like a big thing that's going on is there's all these people that have really good positions and have a lot of knowledge and experience that we're gonna start losing. So I'm sure there's
So
some people.
using the retiring senior citizen community more effectively?
Yeah.
Do you have a retirement community here, like Sun City or?
Several.
Do you?
Well,
No, we don't,
there are, they, what do we call
Well,
them?
there's the one by Ray.
we have some
Really?
different,
They're not, what are they?
I
We have
know,
some
I'm like,
over 55 communities, and then
But
we
they're
have some
more like an
assisted living.
apartment complex or
They're
assisted
not like the
living. They're not
development.
like.
It's not like Oakmont.
No.
yeah, it's not like Oakmont or
It's,
Del Webb, there's not a Del Webb
it's not a
community.
Del Webb, but it's like that type of thing. It's not,
Smaller,
right.
Enclaves.
And then, I mean,
Less affluent.
my father-in-law lived in one in Fairfield, which was a pretty nice one up there. But but it was kind of behind their closed gates. They really didn't come out into the community. A Del Webb would be more of a kind of a unique thing if we had something like that in the community. We did have, well, what was it, like, how are the kitchen cut-ups and those groups? Has that group got older? Have they fallen off?
They're
Do those-
still around.
Do the senior groups still
they still are out and about. Senior,
Good.
there's a senior group, yep, they all are involved in Founder's Day.
Okay.
Okay, so you've identified strengths, and there's considerable strengths here, and you've identified some of the critical issues. A lot of the issues you've identified are issues that are not unique to you. Some are more specific. But in order to build upon those strengths and continue the strengths, and to maximize those strengths, and then to deal with those critical issues, what do you want to see in a new superintendent as far as the kinds of experiences he or she has had, the kind of values he or she would have, what do you want to see in a new superintendent?
Leadership with a vision,
Okay.
at least for the next 5 to 7 years.
And leadership with a vision.
I want to see a superintendent with a curriculum background.
Okay. Background in curriculum.
And building on that, it's, my number one concern is a superintendent who can improve student academic achievement, but not in a generalized way, but specifically, we're almost like 50-50 white Latino, and somebody who can come into that sort of situation and improve academic achievement.
Okay. So
Multilingual would be
All
good.
students.
Yes.
Yes,
Pardon?
multilingual would be
But not,
big
but not
positive.
just ignoring the Latinos, and focusing on the whites, but actually somebody who is comfortable with diversity and addressing different racial, ethnic groups.
Comfortable with diversity.
Again, it's looking towards the demographic and teaching towards the demographic.
exactly.
Educating your demographic.
Yep.
What's that?
I said I would go down and embrace, can't be comfortable. No, comfortable with.
Interpersonal skills,
Interpersonal skills,
able to communicate with everybody.
able to communicate with everybody.
Flexibility and a sense of humor would be helpful.
Oh, sense of humor.
Okay, flexibility, sense of humor.
I made a list. It took me 4 days.
He or she has to be a saint. Have every great quality and value.
Sense of humor.
Knows how
As a
to,
saint, is that what we want?
No. That was an aside.
organize and knows how to prioritize.
Okay, organize, can prioritize, can-
I would say a good listener.
good listener. What's a key ingredient of a good communicator?
And not afraid to,
What was the last one?
Good listener.
yeah.
That was pretty good.
So you're out.
Purpose, I know you.
We want somebody, I want somebody who can set bold goals,
Okay.
not vague. Increase academic achievement's a great statement, but it's pretty vague. So I want to see, we're going to have all third graders be able to read. Or whatever the goal is, let's see what those metrics are and then hold that person
Right.
accountable with what their goals are.
It's
And that
good.
really goes with the first thing you put up there about the vision.
Yeah.
Marketing, really good at marketing and selling our
Marketing.
school district and knows how to do good outreach.
I don't know if this is duplicating what Chris has said about long range, but somebody who's going to commit to the district for at least 5 years. Is that what you were getting?
Yeah.
What you were
I
getting
agree
at?
with that statement.
Someone will commit to the
But
district.
it takes time to develop programs. Programs don't happen overnight.
Nope, and you gotta have buy-in.
No, oftentimes, a new superintendent will come in and that very year, test scores increase. The person will take credit for it. Well, it doesn't happen like that.
Right.
It just doesn't happen.
I'd like to see a team player and someone
player.
that develops their employees, their staff,
Someone who's humble, who's more sees themselves as obviously as a leader, but more or less supporting the staff and people around them.
Like a facilitator type.
Yeah, I think that's a good quality of a leader is not someone who's like, who needs everyone know, he knows he's a leader, but he's more to support the people around him that may actually make it happen.
Servant leadership.
Yeah, it's interesting, one of the things, I mentioned that we had the seminar for superintendents this weekend, and talking about some skills in interviewing. And one of the things that usually turns people off when they talk, it's all I did this, I did that. When you're doing it through people.
It's like, yeah, you come up with the goals, you come up with the vision,
My
but like
staff
you
did
don't do
this.
the work.
Yeah, and you give credit to your
Yeah.
staff. Okay, what else?
We need someone who can bring the district together, everyone, staff, teachers, board, parents, community.
Someone who can unite the district.
Yes.
So, what's the problem? What's the issue?
Excuse me?
What is the issue? And then we could put up as a critical issue, if you need somebody to bring the district together.
The district's been very divided for 7 years.
Okay, so let's put the big on critical issues, divided district.
With parents thinking one way, the board thinking one way, the superintendent thinking one way, the staff thinking one way, the teachers thinking one way, and everybody needs to come to a consensus of what's best for the district, which leads to transparency and communication.
So did we put transparency up there?
No.
Transparent leader?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Do you have a strategic plan in the district?
No.
We're working on developing our goals.
Are you gonna wait for your new superintendent to do that?
Pardon me?
Are you gonna wait for your new superintendent to do that?
It'd be kind of nice actually to have it maybe.
We
like,
might develop some of the
our-
framework
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
and then fine tune it with the superintendent. That's me speaking, there's 5 of us here.
Well, we had a goals meeting, we were supposed to, tonight was supposed to be our
The
second
goal,
goals
man,
meeting.
you guys got in the way.
Hey, sir.
But we ended up between the budget and the budget subcommittee and the facility stuff going on and the superintendent search.
Yeah, I think it's something that's going to really be developed with the new superintendent. I don't see us,
Well, not only with the superintendent, but with
right,
our entire staff,
Oh, absolutely.
our
But
entire community.
What a
right.
great opportunity it is for a new superintendent to come in and
Right.
work with the
Yeah.
board and do the
Because he
entire
or she has that skill of
Right.
unifying.
Yeah.
Right.
So that means that they've got to be good strategic planners.
Strategic plan. Usually, about this time in this discussion, somebody says, obviously, we want somebody who can walk on water. And you haven't done that yet.
I did, I said a
Oh,
saint.
did you?
I said
Oh,
we need a saint.
Okay, you did.
I think someone that's presentable too.
I think it's up here, setting bold goals, people who are willing to skate on thin ice.
Yeah.
Because when you skate on thin ice, there's only that much difference between you and those who walk on the water.
I would like a superintendent that says we're going to increase academic achievement by 1%, and if it doesn't happen, why not? What happened, as opposed to test scores don't matter.
So who sets?
Specific goals and not
Like
afraid.
Accountability,
Because like I said, we can make vague statements.
right.
But without actual goals and metrics to meet those.
There has to be a plan in place in order to
Yeah,
obtain it.
right.
And Joe, you mentioned something.
Just presentable.
Okay, presentable.
Like I
What do
know
you-
that's like a superficial thing, but
What do you mean
like
by that?
presentable. Like
He's got his shirt
someone
tucked
who carries
in, he's
himself
got
well.
his hair combed.
Oh.
You know,
He's got a
someone
Hawaiian
that's
shirt.
like you're proud to
sorry, I
represent
almost
you.
said-
You're
when they-
representing our district.
They
Yeah,
have their
you're the
hair
face of our district. Like
We had a
that
guy
is.
in D'Amato, a couple of years ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago, who came in sweatpants.
For the interview?
Sweat clothes, I think he probably
I think
changed
the
it,
same
but
guy
he was
interviewed for.
prancing around.
Come like
in a
this.
rather strange outfit.
That's funny.
We were very impressed before we saw him, weren't we? Just great, and nobody gave us the clue about this
Hey,
guy. Okay.
since Left sort of alluded to gender issues, I mean, how, can we expect like equal representation in terms of male, female applicants, or how does that work? What
How
is
many
the?
people were-
Because you,
what was
yeah,
the mix that you were
exactly.
saying, the 38
Good
people?
question.
That's interesting.
It's a changed
There-
demographic.
There were 38 people, and I bet about 28 maybe were women.
No, that's good.
It's a very changed.
Good.
When we,
Superintendent Symposium now in Monterey every year,
Oh, the old guy's dying off?
used to be all men. And it was a handful of women, now there are more women.
That's
than-
us,
yeah, when
That's
we
right.
first went to those meetings, it was
It's a good
all,
voice to say.
it was all men, and they were all old. And then,
Except for us.
now they're all young. No, that's changed dramatically.
So you
I
have
would expect you to have
men, women, Hispanic, African-American.
You know, we had a mix, I can't say it's a good mix. There's a real need to get more
Mhm.
Hispanic administrators, and there's a real lack there.
I think that's real important to be able to like actually communicate and talk to a parent when that's like a large majority, when there's an issue, and you know, to be able to not have an interpreter and be able to actually like have a conversation. It's very sterile when you.
Would you like to add that? Preferred bilingual?
I thought I said
Oh,
Yeah,
bilingual,
we, I
didn't we
think
put
got
it?
bilingual up.
good. Definitely.
We have it somewhere, I thought.
Yeah.
You missed it. Sheesh.
It's on my list.
I remember.
Bilingual.
We're getting close to being 50%. Pretty close. 48.3 or something like that? Isn't it something like that?
something like that.
You don't really mean bilingual, you mean Spanish speaker. I speak German, that doesn't do you any good.
Yeah.
Right.
Spanish speaker would be great. That would make a huge difference.
Or some Latin language. Italian.
I want someone that's open-minded
Open-minded.
and has a backbone.
That's a backbone.
I guess honesty, that's like a very,
Was that?
honesty, like someone who's extremely honest. You know, like, not just like the normal honest, but you know, if they make a mistake, they can easily say it without even thinking about it. And we could, you know, so we can move on and figure out, you know,
Okay. So honest.
honesty.
Honest and admits mistakes, not yet, but.
They're human.
Yeah, just like, that's okay. Like people, when people are, you know, pushing it to the limit and working hard, usually more mistakes are gonna happen, and
Mhm.
that's okay. We're expecting a lot out of someone, and, you know, they're just a person, just like anyone else. We just need to know about it right when it happens, so we can all be on the same page and deal with it.
Also, I've studied a lot of organizations in the work I did in the past, and it's really clear how a person views power by how they manage organizations. And some people, you know, have the approach of power over as a hierarchical top-down approach. Some people have the idea of power with or shared power. And for me, I'm looking for somebody who's comfortable with shared power so that they can foster collaboration. And because we have some great educators who need to be involved in, you know, the decisions we're making. And I don't know how you quantify that.
1 and 1 equals 3.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, like it's maybe more that it's a trust. Like you're putting your trust into your team. Like they're part of your team.
Exactly.
He's gonna start probably. I'm sure a superintendent who comes in might bring people with him or have an idea or have some key people that is a part of his team. Because I assume someone in that position has people that he is really comfortable with
Mhm.
that will probably want to go with him. If he's that good of a person, he's gonna have people that will want to follow him. You know, I don't know if that's typical as superintendents go, but when you work with someone, you're so close to them for so long that I figured that would happen.
It can, but that can be real dicey.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, it is, but it's true though. Like you have your right hand person. Like
It
that's
is
that's
dicey
what.
because you cause fractions at times.
What you want is people who would follow him, whether he or she brings them in or
Right.
not.
Yes.
Somebody who's developed loyalty, hey,
I know, like in our trade, if someone in a good position leaves, there's gonna be people who will follow them. Like they don't work for the company, they work for that person, you know, in a way.
I think along with the honesty and integrity part is being able to deal with the good, the bad, and the ugly, because there are all three. Constantly saying everything's great all the time when the writing's on the wall that it's not great doesn't help anybody. So I think an honest, open dialogue, whether it's fantastic or whether it's something really crummy, and we just have to face it head on.
Does that go along with the honesty?
I think so.
Yeah,
I want someone with a positive mindset.
positive mindset.
Well, there must not be any more because we run out.
Or ink.
I think there's some
We
more.
have another, we have another.
Now go out and find us that person.
By tomorrow.
So anything else? We will type up these lists, send them out to you. We don't send them out to the world. One time in one district, it's a good administrative system, it's so effective, just send it out, post it on the website. And interestingly enough, when we started meeting with the groups,
They all
we
had the
were
right
hearing same-
answers.
We were hearing the same thing.
They
So-
reversed it.
It happens anyway,
Yeah.
but it should happen from within, not
Right.
because they copied
Right.
something.
You know what else is important characteristic? Availability. We need a superintendent who will respond to board questions, who will respond to the community, not ignore. That doesn't help anybody.
Okay,
Just
great.
need an available person.
So somebody who's available to the board, community.
The community,
staff.
yep.
Good list. When we come back to you on the 26th of March, we're going to bring these exact pages and put them up. And you'll have seen what we collect, the ideas we collect from your stakeholders. And we'll ask you to go through these, maybe add, you might add something because you'll learn something from what the stakeholders said. There might be something you want to change, but what we're going to ask you to do then is look at what the most important characteristics you want to see in your superintendent and tie them with, well, you can need these kind of characteristics in order to deal with these issues and these problems. You need somebody who has some experience in dealing with these problems and someone who can maintain the good things that are happening in your district already. They're
Well,
really good things.
Along those lines, are we going to talk about stakeholder groups?
Yeah,
Yes.
right now.
Oh, I was just going to ask the same question.
So, why don't we start with, Mindy, why don't you talk about
Sure, I'd be happy
the
to.
stakeholder groups that the two of us have identified thus far, and see what holes there are and how we can fill that in.
So it's the week of March 11th through the 15th, and kind of shared with Steve a schedule of, I'll just read off the schedule. Like Monday at 9 a.m. will be Robert, the
Why don't you just read the people we're going to meet with?
Okay,
Okay.
so
The groups.
Robert, IT Supervisor, Josh Savage, Matt Marshall, Gina Belforte, Roanoke Park City Council, Rancho Cotati High School Student Government Class, the Ripsia Union, and then Monday, March 11th would be the community night at 5:30. And I just want to talk a little bit about that. After this meeting tonight, I'm going to work with Steve, and we're going to do a press release to go into the Community Voice tomorrow by 11, so it'll be in the paper. So whoever reads the paper Friday will know they're all invited to a community meeting at 5:30 on Monday night. Tuesday, Tech High School Student Government Class, Robert CBO, Karen Tedesco, HR Manager, Interim Superintendent Tony Rorick, Julie Sinyard, Roanoke Park City Council, Susan Adams, Pam Stafford, the CSEA Union, District Office staff, and then we have a regular board meeting that night. Wednesday morning, SEI Union, Darren Jenkins, Roanoke Park City Manager, Roanoke Park Chamber of Commerce, meet with cabinet together, all teachers, and then there's a district band concert that night. Thursday, principals, classified staff, and then of course we have a special board meeting that night. I have not gotten to the point where I put on PTAs, boosters. I kind of want to see what the feel is. I don't know, maybe invite them to community night. I just need some more direction, but this is what I have so far.
Do you have, so it looks like you have administrators, you know, people in the district office. Do we have teachers?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the.
Wednesday, all
We
teachers.
have union people and then open meeting for teachers.
Yes.
So we have 300 teachers roughly.
Right.
So how are you going to try? Are you trying to pick and choose? I mean, if the
It's
teachers
a-
that want to get involved,
Invite and
or
then
is it going to
survey,
be,
right?
is it going to be an open thing to where they could all come and discuss?
Well, we could break it down to secondary and elementary, which might be a good idea. And then, you know, so it's an all-call.
But is it by invitation through the principals, or is it open to any teacher?
Steve's giving me we have a draft invitation, sincerely board president, so Left will have we'll have this draft for you to look at,
Okay.
and then I'll send it out. It will be I'll send the invite to all the groups, so everybody knows what, you know, like the community night, all the
Right.
teachers know when the meeting is,
Mhm.
all the classified staff know when the meeting
I
is.
think too, like, it'd be good to have like K through 5th or 6th grade, and then the middle school and the high school, like the teachers broken up, because they're probably gonna have totally different issues from each other. And I think that would be,
Two different
Sure.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice if we all had a common goal, K through 12. We have a K through 12 district. I want a K through 12 vision. So
Well-
I don't want to say, well, here's my high school, you know, wants, or here's my elementary wants without their wants type of thing, you know.
But-
I don't want to, well,
But people are going to be coming at this from.
oh, I know,
All angles,
I know.
yeah.
All of their, you know, their own perspective.
we'll
Right.
probably get more information if we break it
No, I
into
know.
two groups.
I agree.
I think two important groups that are left out are first the ELL. You know, we want to make sure that we have the ELL
Have that on the list.
folks and teachers like Betsy Moses, and so that Latinos are part of this process, because usually they're excluded. And then the second, Credo needs to be
Have
involved.
that on my list.
Good. It's a public charter school in our district that has a charter from the board.
We also have the Chief Parrish, I have an email out to him, and then Timothy Matos, the Roanoke Park Police Chief.
Probably need to hit up Cotati as well.
And then
Parrish, yeah.
also.
Is that Cotati?
Cotati.
Okay.
Also, I don't know how you want to handle this, but I think just out of respect, we want to notify the tribe that operates the casino here, make sure that they're involved.
If you got the Roanoke Park, do you have the Cotati City Council?
I have, yes, I'm still working on that.
Okay. I realize
It's a work in progress.
it's a short notice, it's almost like, let's fly the blimp around for
Okay, I'm new
2
here,
weeks and
so-
I
say,
have to
you
say,
know, get your
I'm
attention.
new here, so I'm confused
I have to
about
say-
something. I
have
don't
to say-
understand how the city council, the Chamber of Commerce have a say in what this public school district superintendent characteristics are. I just don't understand the
They do work a
connection.
lot together.
It's really, these are the,
Community.
They're
these
kind
are
of-
the community schools.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you can get everybody to feel some ownership and be involved, the healthier the schools become.
And it's like, and also too,
Okay.
it's almost like if something ever goes wrong or just whatever, something goes, let's just say worst case scenario, something goes sideways, it's like we got input from every single group and reached out to everyone. The more people we reach out to, the more input we get, and the more everyone feels
When you get a
involved
broader
and just-
perspective as well. Is there an organized Hispanic network, any kind of,
Well, there's DLAC and,
I mean, besides the
ELA.
school?
There's a Hispanic.
Well, there's
chamber.
the Catholic Church, you know, in town. I would approach them and let them know.
Well, this is
What about
part of the
Georgina?
community thing too. If I can get their contacts for the community meet night, I can
Yeah,
send that out.
exactly.
Interfaith
Yeah.
council or some kind of?
No,
religious
it
group?
broke up a while back.
Tim, as far as the casino or the tribe that operates the casino,
Yeah,
do you know how to contact?
I have one connection, I can certainly, where would
Just
you want
out of
me to
respect.
Put them in to attend the community night? I mean, obviously, you don't want to attend with teachers. I mean, we still, I guess, I can find more space, yeah. What about PTA presidents? I think I should send them an email on their own and have a time slot just for them?
That's good.
And I can be available on the 15th if you need any organizations to bleed into that Friday. It's the day
What about-
before vacation. But
School gets out early.
it may be that some will like to
Sure.
take that day and I can be available.
Okay.
What about like site council? Is that?
I'm getting those, yes, I have,
All
I'm
the
getting
site
those
councils,
emails too.
So the community night is on 3/11 at 5:30?
Yes.
Where is that?
It's going to be here, we're going to, if I feel there's going to be a huge response, we can always go into the MU here, but I would say here.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and again, whoever you think I should send that invitation for.
So when we do a community night, are they running it, or is it an official board meeting?
No,
It's not a board meeting at
thank
all.
you so much for bringing
Okay.
that up. I'm-
So we could attend.
No, we request you not attend.
Oh,
You asked me not to attend.
Yeah.
All right, I get a night off.
just you left.
No,
Just me.
And let me explain.
Was that because of my
Yeah, 'cause
behavior, or
it's-
what?
You wanna, yeah.
Yeah, let me
What exactly-
explain.
Well, you're leaning.
We ask you
Yeah,
not to,
you're leaning
you're all
back
wonderful
here.
people and
To
open
the
and all
left,
that,
not to the right.
but we want to be sure that people can express themselves freely. And I'll never forget a wonderful school district we dealt with down in the desert somewhere. A big school district, about 30,000. And had a great discussion with, this was a teacher group, and people were being pretty open until a board member walked in. And then it was, I had to ask her, please,
Leave.
you're all wonderful, warm, great, open people, but you're also their boss. So we ask you to please not be a part. We'll bring you everything, you'll hear everything they say, because we'll bring it to you.
And I don't know how this would work, but I was, just like, if we get, I don't know how to do it. There's probably not enough time, but it'd be nice to hear from charter school parents. Because I feel like that there's probably a lot of parents here. I think I was talking to a father on my kid's soccer team, and he's telling me, and kids go to charter school.
What
And I'm-
charter school you're talking about?
I'm just saying, like, any kids in our district that go to charter schools,
But,
like any community members.
so
that
I'm
go-
trying to think of the charter schools. I mean, there's not
Well,
that,
they-
hardly any to go to Credo,
No, but I'm saying they go to Santa Rosa and stuff. I know.
but it's not necessarily charter schools. They might go to the Art Quest, or they might go to
Well, it's at the
Anley.
high school. No, they go like,
Like Rincon
I forgot
Valley.
what they're called. There's a bunch of
Rincon
them.
Valley Charter School,
What's up?
like Rincon Valley.
Yeah, and like,
Schooling.
Are they
so,
located here or?
well, that's like,
Valley's
when I was in
closing,
K
isn't it?
section, I talked to a few
Christian
people and
schools.
they went to charter schools in Santa Rosa, elementary schools.
Is it like the French?
No, not the French American Academy.
Well,
I
isn't
know that
Twin
too.
Hills
It's a
Is it
Waldorf
basketball?
school, high school.
It's not.
Yeah,
charter
like those
school.
types of things, It'd be
It's
nice
just-
to, I don't know, I just feel like, I think on some charter schools, I was talking to a parent, there's like this preconceived thing that their charter schools are, more aggressive academically and all this stuff, and we don't have the same things to offer to them, and they're going to Santa Rosa.
Well,
And I think that it'd be nice to hear from them.
what they think, what their perceptions are on things.
How to-
I don't know, it'd be nice if we had those people's input, because, they obviously.
How do they get in touch with those people?
I know, and I'm just saying, I'm just talking.
Well, there's
about-
the ad in the
Do you know how to
voice
get a hold of anybody?
that
There's not
Mindy
enough
was
time.
talking
I just know,
about.
like, the few
We know how to
people I talk
contact
to.
Credo.
You were talking about the voice ad you're going to put in?
tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, so that's one way they
Yeah,
could
but
hear about.
I don't mean to be a pessimist, but if I'm a charter parent, I'm happy where I am, and you're advertising for a superintendent, what draws me out
Well,
to come
well, say
talk
you-
about use for something better than what I have?
But the thing is, say
I mean-
you live in Runner Park and you're taking your kid to school in Santa Rosa.
I realize that.
Because
Or
you think it's so much,
Sebastopol or Panorama.
they got so much more to offer. But think about this, if someone reached out to you and trying to, wants your input on a superintendent, that's kind of an outreach thing too.
No,
Yeah,
And we're talking about like, raising our enrollment numbers. Like, I think this is another opportunity to reach out and kind of market ourselves and get that involvement. I don't know how it's gonna work, it's just, I feel like this is an opportunity for us to
Do you think a radio ad or something like that?
Put up roadblocks in the morning, and you'll be standing at the roadblocks talking to all of them.
I'm thinking of
Can't come
your last board meeting, the two students spoke, and they both didn't live in your community.
Well, one of them
From
didn't,
Windsor.
one of them didn't go
They're-
here.
They're both
He
tech.
just came to speak, but he didn't go here.
He
He went
didn't
to
go,
Petaluma.
oh.
No, he went to Petaluma. Um,
Okay,
There's a
yeah.
membership
Well, we're also gonna
organization of
send
charter
a,
schools we could check with.
An
Oh.
automated phone message to all parents.
Yeah, and I'll call to all parents. In every communication we do, we also talk about the online survey, so that people will have an opportunity to go to your website.
Well, and each school site should have it up on their website. I know they're all doing their own now.
Well, getting back to Joe's issue, you know, one thing that's pretty easy to do and cheap is we could do a boosted ad on Facebook.
Yeah, you could do boosted ads for very inexpensive to go to all of Cotati and all of
Yeah.
Rohnert Park, age, people between this age and this age. You can get a targeted ad out to those people.
I don't know.
He's like me, he doesn't
Mike
understand
Josh
it.
is 7.
Matt
You
Marshall.
go and you place an ad on the Cotati, the CRPUSD
And
Facebook,
boost it.
and
You have a
you,
Facebook page?
Yes.
Yeah.
CRPUSD does,
Yeah.
yes.
And
An
they could
official
boost it.
page, yes. And then you boost it on there.
It's really easy to
You
do.
boost the ad, it's really easy
Somebody
to do.
In the district will be.
Yes.
Yeah, someone in there, one of these guys, smart guys can do it. Yeah,
Ma-
you just boost the ad and you say, I want to go to this zip code and this zip code, and I want to target people 18 to 35, or I want 35 to, you pick the demographic. And it'll say, do you want everybody? And you say yes. So
They're-
you
they're
can
not
send
gonna
out
hit
this
us.
boosted ad to 30,000 people. And so it comes through your feed, it comes through your
First I gotta
Facebook
get
feed.
Facebook.
We
Well,
could
I'll
have
do my
a
best. I'll
picture of
see what
you
I can
going,
do.
I want
Okay.
you.
Doing
Yeah,
what?
would have to get it
Saying,
going
like Uncle
sooner
Sam,
than
I
later,
want
because
you.
we
Oh,
want
okay, there we go.
community
Yeah.
meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, did we cover the waterfront?
Yep.
So I have a
Just
question.
make sure you get, make sure you get Cotati.
Why is the community meeting on the Monday instead of like towards the end of the week?
Well, we have a regular board meeting on Tuesday. We have the big band concert on Wednesday, and Thursday night we have a special board meeting.
Is the band concert on Wednesday
Yes.
at the middle school or at Green?
At Lawrence Jones, we didn't do green this year.
Mindy,
Okay.
what's the special board meeting?
Which
Brown Act training.
Brown Act training on the 14th.
Is that going to draw a lot of people?
No.
No, it's
No.
going to
Could
draw
we
the
do our
board.
community meeting that
We
night?
could do whatever the board wants.
I would say look and see what else is going on the calendar, because if you have a lot of other events at schools, you're not going to get anybody.
I was just saying, like, I think it give us a little, couple more days to.
Yeah, to
outreach
get
to
the,
people.
get the word out there.
If you can do it on the 14th, because the board meeting's, the Brown Act thing's just going to be, I'm assuming us.
So if we have the special
It's
board,
not
well,
gonna
we
be a
don't have
big
to have the
turnout.
special board meeting in here, right? Because.
No.
No,
You
we
can
can do an
have it.
We'd
L1.
have it in L1, and then you guys could be in here, so you want the community.
Do you even want us
meeting-
at this site, though?
Pardon?
Do you even want us at this site if you're having a?
Oh, no, you're going to be in a separate.
As long as
Okay,
we're,
all right.
So then.
that'll
community
give
night,
about
March 14th,
9 days
right?
instead, about
5:30.
9 days instead, 10?
Yeah, we're really up against the calendar because of the spring break and not wanting to wait to do this after the spring break.
And how's the survey done? Is that going to get pushed out to the whole community,
Yeah.
everyone?
I think every single person.
Well, we
Every
could-
notice that goes out will say that people have
If
an
you can't make a
opportunity.
meeting, but you'll have an opportunity to share on the survey, yeah.
Since we started doing the online surveys, it may be different here, but we get tremendous input.
Yeah.
It's a real simple, the online survey really is just what you've done here. So, anything else for the good of the cause? Talk up to your friends, relatives, about these meetings, encourage people to attend.
So we're going the 11th to the 14th, I'm confused.
We moving to the 14th?
The community
The
meeting,
community.
community meeting.
Yeah.
And again, that we could go on to the 15th if there are groups that would
Right.
prefer meeting on a Friday.
Yeah.
The
We're
special
bailing.
meeting on the 14th,
Brown Act,
that's not closed.
No, it's open.
correct.
It's open, okay, that's
Or
right.
you can dry letting the brown. Okay, thank you very much. Good group.